how can we eat healthy, right? Yeah. So let's talk about that. First of all, let me show you a very interesting picture. Okay. This is giraffe. Recently, scientists found them in Africa. Okay. And this giraffe, normally giraffes eat what? Leaves of the acacia trees, right? Or the leaves. So that's what they never eat something on the ground, really. Except the only time when they are what? Trying to drink water. Look at his pose. How inconvenient, right? Yeah, they have to spread wide the front leg. That's not easy for them, you know. But going through all this trouble, look what they eat, what this guy is eating. Yeah, chewing the bones, bone of dead animal, right? And you know what they found out? They anesthetized this giraffe, and then they found out this giraffe is lacking calcium. Isn't that interesting? How this giraffe know that there's some calcium available in the bone, right? Yeah. What do you call this kind of thing? You can't call this instinct, right? Instinct is something, you know, routine stuff. This is totally nothing routine about it, see? Okay, now, let's look at this giraffe. This guy's looking at her saying, is she crazy? Can't understand, you know? Yeah. Okay. Now. Okay. This is Alaska. I got this picture from National Geographic. And who are these? Huh? Yeah, mountain goat. Yeah, mountain goat. What are they doing? What are they doing? Huh? What are they doing? What are they doing? There's no vegetation, you know. But why they're climbing up there? No, and they look like what? They're doing something with their... They're licking something. Yes, licking salt. This is salt, you know, rock. Yeah. Look at that. And to come to this place, they came about what? 5-10 miles away from these places, and they even are crossing this torrential river to come to this rock to lick the salt. Amazing, is it, right? And this is a dangerous river. And let's see. But this is monkey. It's on a very small island on the west coast of Africa. Okay. And we don't know exactly what kind of bush this is, the leaf. Normally, this monkey do not eat these leaves of these bushes. But every once in a while, maybe once every month or 2 months, they come up here on this hill and eat this. leaves, which they don't normally do. Okay? And whenever they eat this, then they do something strange. They come down to the village down there, where the local people cut a big tree and they burn the stump inside and they're making some charcoals. When they find the charcoals, look, they're eating charcoals. Just like a chocolate bar, right? Yeah. Yeah. They never do this without eating that leaves. They only do this only after eating those leaves. So scientists figured there might be what? Some poison. Okay? So that's why they probably need what? Need a charcoal to absorb the poison from the stomach. Right? So they got those leaves and they analyzed it. They found some poison in there. Interesting, right? How do they know? See, there's a lot of things they don't know, but they know. We know a lot, but we don't know a lot. See? Yeah. What do you call this kind of thing? They do not have the knowledge about calcium. They do not have knowledge about poison, right? They do not have a knowledge about salt. But when they need them, they come. Without knowing why, without knowing the reason, they feel like eating, right? You know the giraffe. This giraffe, scientists found out, scientists are guessing now, that's the right kind of guessing. You know, there's a lot of acid rain because of air pollution coming from Europe, right? Across the Mediterranean Sea. And there's a lot of acid rain is falling, right? That's acid rain water being so acidic, it is leaching the calcium from the soil. So that's why that calcium is sort of deficient in the leaves of those trees. So that's probably why this giraffe has a lack of calcium. That's why God is responsible, right? God need to feed some calcium by sending him what? Spark. Yeah. So this kind of phenomena happens, like what you saw, like when there is some food shortages because of prolonged drought. And then this ant, the worker ant, is killing the queen ants to control what? Population growth, right? So there seems to be, right, if we don't want to talk about God, there seems to be some kind of what? Very interesting intelligence, right, in this universe. So scientists who denies the existence of God is calling this kind of phenomenon, saying what? There is cosmic intelligence. Okay. Cosmic intelligence. Oh, a big word. Yeah? Or cosmic, sometimes it is being called cosmic consciousness. Okay? So they desperately don't want to call it God. Okay? Yeah. And so there is intelligence in the universe. Okay. And so what do we call this as a Christian? We call wisdom of God, right? Yeah, this is wisdom. This is not our knowledge. These ants do not have that kind of knowledge, right? Giraffes do not have that kind of knowledge. Giraffe has no knowledge whatsoever about calcium, right? Giraffe does not know what is calcium. Giraffe does not know he is really calcium deficient, right? Giraffe does not know why he feel like eating bone today. Right? He has no knowledge, but this is what? Wisdom of God is working on the giraffe. This wisdom is the spark. Yeah. God is sending him a spark to activate certain genes to make this giraffe feel like eating the bone, which he needs. So wisdom is really maintaining our life every moment. When you look at the stomach, okay, this digestive system, this is very interesting. This is food and some we call gastric juice, okay, and some people have indigestion, okay. Why? Because look, the stomach has very interesting muscular system. Look at this. Muscle this way, muscle this way, muscle this way. Why? Because stomach has to have what? Yeah. What do you call churning, you know? Yeah. And this muscle has to be healthy for you have what? Good, healthy stomach. Okay? If your this muscle is not really healthy, then your stomach is so tired. You know, sometimes do a few times and we quit. And then sometimes this stomach muscle gets spastic. Like that. Okay. This muscle is very sensitive to your nerve. See, so that's why your stomach is sort of what? Responding to your emotion very easily. When you're stressed, when you're angry, when you're so that's why we use the word what? Disgusted. Do you know what gust is, right? It's a stomach. Yeah. So, emotionally upset, it means disgusted. So, when you're disgusted, you are disgusted. See? So, that's why you have to be happy, not to be disgusted. You know? So, a lot of people are always feeling disgusted, but then they go to the doctor. I am disgusted. My stomach is disgusted. Actually, your stomach is not just disgusted. It's you are what? Disgusted. See? So you somehow need to prevent feeling what? Disgusted. I used to be so disgusted, on everything. I always was disgusting. I was always walking out disgusting, that guy is disgusting. That patient is disgusting. No. Because my standard was very high. So everybody who's below my standard is disgusting. Yeah. In turn, I am becoming what? Disgusting person. And I found I have lots of indigestion. You know that? Yeah. Now, very seldom I'm disgusted. Even though I meet disgusting patients, still I'm not disgusted. Really, it's something very happy because somehow my standard become very lowered. Yeah. You know why this happened? You know why this happened? Because if you raise your own standard very high, you feel so disgusted. Because you expect everyone should be at same level. You know, that's real stress. This we call pride. See? Yeah. This we call pride. Now, the level is so low here. Guess why this happened? A long time ago, when my level was so high, I figured out now that I didn't know about myself very well. See? After I got to know about myself so well, I could not maintain this level anymore. Really? Yeah. Because if you look at my passport picture 25 years ago or 30 years ago, do you know how I look like? Is there anybody better than I am? That kind of, yeah. Now my passport picture is like that. You know how this happened? How can your standard level comes down so much? In a way, it's easy. Yeah, it's easy, you know, because since I begin to read the Bible keep on telling me what I am a sinner, and I didn't know what that meant, you know. Yeah. Sinner. If you know what sinner means, you begin to be happy, really. Yeah, that's the key to the happiness. You begin to comprehend what sinner means, and now you found that you belong to that sinner. That makes me happy. Okay, let me get into that. This is just you can blame the stomach. Okay, so I wasn't really planning talking about this, but this is an important subject anyway. One day I was watching television, and there was a big story. It was a big story in what's happening in Boston. You know. Still, just something cooking there, right? That the Catholic priest molesting these altar boys, right? So at that time, one priest were found out. So about 43 men sued him, right? They're already in their 40s and 50s, right? So because they were very young, they were molested by this priest. And when that was exposed, or was on the news, I felt, oh, disgusting. Disgusting. And I thought it was well justified for me to be disgusted. But it is bad for my gene, you know. Yeah. Then when I said disgusting, oh, awful. But you know, after I said that, I wasn't feeling comfortable. I felt like God is speaking to me, so are you, you know. Yeah. I said, why? I never done such a thing, you know. But I still felt I'm being convicted, you know. And God said, Sang, don't be disgusted. You're not that much different from him. Huh. I don't get it, you know. And I really felt there is an answer, but I couldn't get the answer right now. You know what? I prayed, Lord, I'm feeling this, that I'm being convicted. Could you clarify this, you know? I'm confused. I'm strongly denying this. When did I do such a thing, like he did? But I still have some feeling that what? God might be right. Because he's been always right, you know. Yeah. So I prayed, oh God, please let me know. I really appreciate that. Then next week's Sabbath, I was invited to preach in a Northern California church. It was a beautiful, wealthy church. Okay, it's a big church, about almost 1,000 members. It was a wealthy area of the Northern California. And when I got there, it was a very wealthy people. You can see lots of Mercedes, in the parking lot. And so I was impressed. So I was preaching. And about I began preaching, and 3, maybe 4 minutes passed. And a nice-looking young lady is a little late, She now arrived, pushing the door and coming into the sanctuary. And I looked at her. Nobody can see her, okay? Only I can see her. Okay. And I found she was a very attractive lady, And you know what? My holy word was keep on coming out of my mouth. Yet I am looking at her. And there's a second Sang says, wow. And the first Sang is keep on preaching. And then another Sang says, maybe that's the Holy Spirit, right? Says, Sang, your sermon you're not with your sermon. I said, yeah, that's true. I was thinking, I wish she comes all the way forward and sit closer so I can look at her. Then the God is still, Holy Spirit still saying, Sang, you don't have your heart in your sermon today. I said, yes. I agreed with it, But she didn't come forward. She just found the empty seat way back, and I had to forget about her, So somehow, sermon went well, and was well done, and everybody shaking hand, oh, it was nice, you touched me today, and so. Whom I was waiting? Okay. And I began to feel, maybe God is right. See? And that day, I really refound myself. I could be that way even while I'm giving sermon, even on Sabbath day, even in the sanctuary. Wow, okay. Yeah, and God is speaking to me, saying, you are a sinner, So I said, I got it. Okay, I admit it. So God says, okay, but still, remember, still I love you. I said, I know that, I know that. Yeah, I know. See? I know that. And then they're preparing for the potluck. And they had a nice fountain, in the middle of the, what you call, the courtyard, It was a beautiful fountain. And what is, And then I sat right there and taking some rest. It was a very hot day like this. Okay. 2 little girls was coming to me, toward me. They all listened to my sermon. It was so hot day, and everybody had sort of sleeve, short sleeve. The shoulder was exposed. And 2 little girls, they're about 7, 8 years old. Hi, Dr. Sang. Hi. We enjoyed your sermon. Oh, good. Yeah, I'm glad you enjoyed it. So they came to me and they're speaking to me. One girl was very, very cute. The other girl was not so cute. Okay. And I look at the shoulder, you know, it's cute. You know, I felt like touching it, you know. But you know, you have to be careful nowadays, right? You don't touch, you know. You can be severely misunderstood, right? Yeah. And so I felt that. Soft, you know. And then she says, bye, see you later. They're leaving. So I was watching two girls from behind. Oh, just, you know, cute girls. And then God began to speak to me. Sang, did you find out your problem? I said, what problem? You know, I don't get you. I had no problem. As you know, I didn't touch it. Whether you touch or not, that's not the issue, you know. And you know what God was asking me? Whose shoulder you wanted to touch? So I said, before that, I said, you know, I felt like touching the shoulder, you know. So cute. So what's wrong with that? Because I love them. But as you know, I was being careful. I didn't touch. You know what God was telling me? Saying, okay, I know you didn't touch. I know you love them, those cute girls, right? Nothing wrong with that. But my point is, whose shoulder you wanted to touch? Then it was so clear. If I love children with a genuine godly love, I should feel more love toward what? A girl who's not so cute, right? Because they need more love. Cute ones receiving already much love, right? So, Sang, so what's so different? Then I said, you're right, Father. So that day, I lowered my standard, what? Way down, you know. Yes, I got you. I'm a sinner, see. And I'm so happy that you shed your blood on the cross for me. You know? So cross became suddenly much more meaningful. Yes. See? Yes. See? So, I feel so good about that God is freely speaking to me to show me who Sang Lee really is, right? Yeah. Are you comfortable with that? Yeah. See? Yeah. See? And so from that point on, I begin to feel I'm no longer disgusted. Yeah, isn't that nice? And my stomach was doing good since then, really. Yeah, because I'm no longer disgusted, you know. Because whenever I almost feel like disgusted, then God always speaks to me saying, you are not that much different. I said, okay, I got it. So since then, I always ask him back, okay, can you explain that to me? Then he does. Then I agree with him. Okay, I got you, you know. This I call freedom. Freedom, okay? Yes. Yeah. Freedom to admit, right? Yeah. I'm not saying I'm completely, finally I'm somewhat free from my pride, from my standard, right? This standard was giving me so much stress and disgust, you know? Yes. And that's why I feel peaceful. Oh, yes. Even though I'm this bad, right? He loves me. And on top of that, he used me as a servant, right? To spread his gospel. Isn't that amazing? Yeah. It's not because I am better than somebody else he used me. You know why? I am better than some of you. Why? Because I know I'm worse than some of you. Yeah? What an interesting point, right? This is amazing. And this is secret. This is secret of the gospel. See? This power of gospel is making me to lower my standard. Yeah. And my try. This is only way to become genuinely happy. See? Yes. Yeah. When you have this kind of happiness, your stomach becomes so peaceful. You know. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. And so, when you look at the stomach cell, okay, there is there's an area called duodenum here. Duodenum. You know, there's a very interesting cell scientists recently found. They call the sensor cell. Okay, and so let's say, you know, some of this is acid. Okay, very bad acid. If acid, but stomach is producing some kind of mucus, thick mucus, which coats the whole entire surface of the stomach. So it is being protected, see, from this acidic, the terribly, very strongly acidic acid. Okay. Yeah. Sometimes it's pH 1 or 2, you know, very strongly acidic. And so if you get this acid out to put on your face, you'll have what? Some kind of burn, yeah. But stomach is not being burned. Why? Because the stomach is being coated by mucus. You know. And in the stomach cell, there's mucus-producing cells too. So the problem is, when this acid goes over this limit into the duodenum, and duodenum begin to what? Sense it. Acid came in, you know. Then you know what? This duodenum is immediately sending, this sensor cell is immediately sending signal to the pancreas cell to produce what? Some kind of alkaline, you know, liquid. Yeah. It's interesting, you know. We call it the bicarbonate, right? So bicarbonate is some kind of what? Alkaline. So it can neutralize, so not to get burned, you know. How do the sensor cell know, right? It's only, actually not, sensor cell does not know anything. It is God knows. Some stomach acid is what? Overflowing into the duodenum. So God is using the sensor cell to what? Send signal to the pancreas to solve this problem. So, there's, you know, all this kind of very, very elaborate system is already what? Put into work. Only thing it requires is what? Click, right? That's why you have a stomach problem, indigestion, and all other problem. Like even though you have a cancer cell in your body, your T cell is not going to go to cancer cell and attack it. Why? Because your T cell is not what? Perceiving this click, this, the spark coming from God. Why? Because your antenna is what? Too close to the speaker. Yeah. Yeah. You cannot receive the signal, proper signal. See? That's the whole thing, whole, you know, name of game. Yeah. Yeah. So you have to come away from what? Speakers, right? Then you begin to be able to sense this proper life-giving signal. And you know, these monkeys and the mountain goats and the giraffes, they're all what? Responding to the what? The signal we called wisdom of God. Yeah. You know, scientists were observing. This giraffe was chewing bone for 6 days, and after 6 days they don't. Why not? They don't need any more calcium. See? See, they don't have to go to doctor and check a blood test. But we do, right? What a stupid human being, right? Do you know why we do that? Why we have to do that? Now we think we must do that. That is already wrong. When giraffes don't have to do the blood testing, why do we have to do? Tell me give me the answer. We are actually much smarter than giraffe, right? But why we have to do the blood testing to find out whether we achieve the proper calcium, serum calcium level or not?
We don't listen.
Hmm?
We're not doing what God designed us to do. We're not living what He designed us.
Okay, this we call wisdom of God, right? We ignore wisdom, you know that? We ignore wisdom and we trust what? Knowledge. Knowledge. Yes. So we have a bunch of knowledge, but we have so little what? Wisdom. And the giraffe has no knowledge whatsoever. They never went to college, you know? Yeah. Not even high school yet. They have no knowledge whatsoever, but they what? They perceive, they receive the wisdom. Do you know what modern medicine versus New Start is? Modern medicine is knowledge medicine. New Start is what? Wisdom medicine. That's it. Which way you trust more? Yeah, wisdom is much more trustworthy. But when you saying that you trust wisdom, then you are considered as a strange, stupid person. See? Today, the wisdom is so misunderstood and ignored. You know how wisdom is so correct, so accurate? See? This is amazing. This is so accurate. Like, is there any physician on earth today can tell you what time you should drink water? No. But you know what? It is God's wisdom. See, Christy is now, God is saying, drink some water, right? I didn't tell her to drink water, right? She didn't know. But it was God is watching her water level in her own cells, right? It is God speaking to her. Drink some water. Yeah. No one can do that for us, right? So nowadays, in this medical system, we are supposed to what? Listen to the doctors. When doctors has no knowledge about what? Me, really. He doesn't know me. But we think he knows me, right? And doctors think they know us. What a system, right? Yeah. So we can sue doctors if doctor make mistake. Why? Because we thought he knew us. In fact, he doesn't, right? So no one can be responsible for us, but we already what? Make doctors responsible for us, and the doctors think they are responsible for us. Interesting system, right? So this system, this entire system, which is what? The system God is systematically removed, right? You know what this system called? This system is I call 666 system. That's right. That's what 666 is. Yeah. 666 you can find in Revelation chapter 13, right? Because 777 is what? Number of God. It's perfect. The wisdom is perfect. Knowledge is what? So imperfect, but you feel like it's perfect. Yeah. Okay? That's what 66 means. 666. Yeah. Why there's 3 letters, 666? It's we call false trinity, right? Yeah, devil has his own trinity system. That's right. He counters, he mimics, he duplicates all this false system exactly the way God's system is. That's why it is 666. And and there's a whole lot more interesting stuff, but so there is wisdom is controlling our life. Now, let me get back to this. In the Garden of Eden, Adam and Eve sinned by eating the fruit which was forbidden, right? What was the name of the fruit? That's right. It is a fruit of tree of what? Tree of knowledge. Do you know what sin means? The original sin that Adam and Eve committed at the Garden of Eden. God says, please eat fruit of tree of life only, right? And here's the tree of knowledge. Don't touch it. This kind of thing brings so much questions. Why then did he make that tree? But if you understand, you cannot question that kind of, you cannot ask that kind of question, really. Because we already learned about what? The difference between the fact and the truth, right? Yeah. Right? The fact has no power to activate your gene, right? No, you look at the Yosemite Fall and then this is what? The water pouring down from the rock. It doesn't make you happy, right? It has no beauty, no spark in it. So truth means fact. Fact should be fact plus what? Beauty, plus spark, plus love. Okay, yeah, you're my husband, so what? When there's no love, right? But when there's love, honey, you're my wife. Then wife was, oh yes, I am your wife. Almost passing out. So happy to hear that you're my wife. Yeah. So truth has the power to activate your gene, right? Fact doesn't. It is same thing with knowledge versus knowledge and wisdom. The wisdom has power to activate your gene. However, knowledge don't. Knowledge doesn't have the power. See? Okay. So, let me put it this way. So, truth equals fact plus what? Fact plus spark, which is in what? Which is in love, right? Now, the wisdom equals knowledge plus what? Again, spark. So actually, the reason why wisdom gives you life is because of the sparks, right? Yeah. So, you eat the tree of life. So it seems to be there's some difference between tree of life versus what? Tree of knowledge, right? What's the difference? Is the tree of life is a tree of wisdom? Why do you say yes? Yeah. So, you may call the tree of life, right? The wisdom tree of life. So, we always have to go back to Bible, right? And, okay. Let's see. Proverb. So the proverb is a book of what? Book of wisdom, right? Whenever a proverb says her or she, this means what? Wisdom. Yeah. Okay. She is a tree of what? Life. What is? Wisdom is. Isn't that interesting? Wisdom is the tree of life. See? To those who take hold of her, and happy are all who retain the wisdom. See? Yeah. So wisdom is indeed tree of life, biblically speaking, right? Yeah. So now you can see this is what? This wisdom is a tree of what? Life. So now you can see why God said, don't touch the tree of knowledge. Why? Instead of this. Why? Because this knowledge, tree of knowledge has what? No spark. Yeah. Right? Its wisdom has knowledge and the spark together. So that's why if you only take knowledge alone, while you are turning your back toward what? Against the wisdom, then you die. You have no life, right? Yeah. So it is not the punishment of God. God says, in that day you eat of it, right? You shall surely what? Die. It doesn't mean if you don't listen to me, I'm going to kill you. It doesn't mean that, right? What it means is, if you give up the spark, right, by giving up the wisdom to take only knowledge, you're going to die. Yeah. Isn't that the truth? God is speaking the truth. God is not threatening Adam and Eve, you know. So that's why when you have a wisdom, there must be what? There must be knowledge too. Yeah. So there has to be tree of knowledge, right? So don't ever ask why God made the tree of knowledge, okay? Yeah. It's something has to be there. So, when God is trying to explain the wisdom, He need to use what? Knowledge. Yeah. So that's why He has to have knowledge. Yeah. So anytime Adam says, "Daddy, that's so interesting. Can you explain that to me?" Then God have to what? Have to open the knowledge, right? Yeah. Yeah. So He has to have it. But that does not give you what? Life. See? Boy, problem is simple, right? Very simple indeed. So, so that's why my point is, when you are trying to eat healthy, you have to seek what? wisdom of God. That's what this animal kingdom, those animals do that, even though they never learn the nutritional sciences or medicine, right? They don't know what vitamin is. But they eat exactly they are supposed to eat according to the what? According to the wisdom. Right? Yeah. So, you don't have to have knowledge. If you receive the wisdom, the knowledge come along with wisdom anyway, right? But what you need is not really the knowledge. What you need is what? The spark. Yeah. See? This is the difference between the world and the God today. See? Yeah. That's why we lost our life. Because we turned our back on the wisdom. See? So we really look down on wisdom. You know, when you raise a child, see, when you become mother, you become extremely wise, you know, right? But God is speaking to you a lot. Like when you really love your husband, you know what happened? You feel like going to grocery store very often. Okay? And when you go to grocery store, then you feel like buying this and that and that, you know. Because you feel that somehow your husband needs that. But you're thinking about divorcing him. Do you know what the first symptom you have? You don't feel like going to grocery. And even though you went to grocery, you really don't know what to buy. So husband called you. Are you okay? And you say, before you used to say, honey, please come home. I'm prepared. You know, I prepared a nice meal for you. It is what? It is according to the wisdom of God. Because God knows what kind of nutrient your husband needs that evening. So that's why God sent your wife to grocery to buy that stuff. You know? This is how it works. If you depend upon wisdom, this kind of unimaginable things can be what? Achieved. You cannot do it with the knowledge, right? Yeah. Let me give you an example. There was a couple in Los Angeles I met, okay, and husband graduated best university in Korea, Seoul National University. But he came from the poorest province of the Korea, okay, which is very mountainous area. You know. And they were so poor then, long time ago. Everybody else eat rice, but they could not eat rice. Rice was sort of too expensive for them, you know. So all they are eating, all their life is corn and the potato. Potato and corn and potato. They're sick of it, you know. So they're drooling upon white rice. Oh, when are we going to be able to eat that rice? You know? And this man was in that area until his high school. Then he came to Seoul. You know, he received some scholarship. Now he could eat white rice. So he felt what? His status was elevated. You know, so he graduated, and then he was hired by Daewoo Company. You know, with a big corporation like a Samsung, and he was working in the Los Angeles office. You know. And one day, so he hates potato and the corn. Okay, he hated it. So he declared to his wife, honey, don't ever buy corn. Okay, I'm sick of it. You know. That's a pride, isn't it, right? Yeah. Because the corn means to him what? Poverty, low class. He didn't have to really that much, you know, hating corn. Yeah. but he gave that meaning to the corn. So now he is now their woman. Their woman shall never be what, low class. That was what he meant. Okay. So also, you know, he was really sick of corn. And then one day he went to Mexico City for his business trip, and he drank bad water, and he had a severe diarrhea. And he had bad diarrhea for 1 week. He was sick in the hotel room, and finally he took some antibiotics, and then it was cleared. So he had diarrhea after diarrhea, and now he was sort of pooped. So he came back home, and he had strange symptoms. He was irritable. He was not happy, feeling tired. He was a very healthy guy, you know. And his little spasms, you know, strange. He had no sexual desire. You know. And he went to doctor, and according to blood testing, everything's fine. But in fact, what's the problem was, he lost a lot of magnesium. You know, people don't get the magnesium deficiency very easily. Why? Because we're eating lots of food. Well, we eat what? Corn and what potato has a lot of magnesium, but he didn't. So his magnesium level was what? Sort of dwindling. But because of what? Terrible what? Diarrhea. He lost quite a bit, and that's why he easily got into this magnesium deficiency. He didn't know. He didn't know what was magnesium. See? He graduated business school, right? And his wife graduated art school. You know. So nobody knows what magnesium is. Okay? Yeah. Do you have to know magnesium? No. Not really. Even though you know, you don't know, really. You still don't know. Yeah. So he didn't feel good. So his wife and they're all puzzled, you know. So next morning, he was driving to his office on the freeway. Suddenly, he had a strong urge for the what? Corn on the cob. He felt ridiculous, you know. Consciously, he hated corn. Subconsciously, what? He had urge. I call this conflict of consciousness and subconsciousness. In the consciousness, he is in charge, right? And subconscious area, who's in charge? God is in charge. Because God knew, you know, among all these food, corn has the highest content of magnesium. Really. So he didn't eat that. And then the second, next to the corn, do you know what it is? Potato. Yeah. So he removed completely those two, so that's why his magnesium was sort of, you know, it was okay until he had what? Terrible diarrhea continuous. So he felt so stupid. So why? He couldn't understand himself, you know. I hate corn, but why I feel like eating corn? You know, this is the nature of stress, really. We have this kind of conflict between the consciousness and subconscious area in many different areas. Really, we do. Okay? And so he endured that. He said, why, you know? Then as soon as he arrived in his office, he was too busy, telephone rings, and he forgot about it. He forgot about corns. But after his work was done, when he was on his way back home, coming back home, he was what? Corn again. And he couldn't even talk to his wife about it. Why? Because his wife might think, you know, her husband is sort of what? Wimp, you know. Once he said no corn, then he'll stick out no corn, right? And so he didn't say anything. Next day, same problem. So he endured that, he denied that, right? And then third day, he did. Fourth day, it was so strong. And then he said, no, I'm not going to have corn. You know, when you refuse the God's spark, do you know what God is going to do? God is not going to give up on you. God is going to go to someone else. To whom? Someone who loved him. Okay, so you better love your husband. Otherwise, spark will go to mother-in-law, okay? Really. So in this situation, this wife loved her husband. You know, she was ironing his shirts. And then suddenly she began to feel she needs to go to grocery. And she says, I have everything in my refrigerator. But she had a strange urge, what? To go to grocery. It's just like what? These mountain goats, a strange urge to cross the river and go to that rock. You know? They couldn't understand themselves. So we call this what? Intuition, isn't it? This is what intuition is. There's a bad intuition too, you know. Not all the intuition is good. Okay. Sometimes there's a strong speaker's intuition comes to you. Noisy intuition, which disturbs you so much, you know. And you see, man has tendency denying intuition. Woman has tendency what? Following the intuition, right? So, that wife said, oh, I have everything. But then she still felt what? Maybe there's something else I like to buy for my, what? Cook for my husband. So she went. The moment she stepped into the grocery store, wow, there's a corn is on sale, you know. And as soon as she looked at the corn, she had a strong urge to buy the corn. She felt this is strange. Because she knows husband will never eat the corn. Yet, she feels like husband will eat tonight. That's why it is very important for us to have a loving wife, you know. Yeah. Yeah. Because we men are so busy in what? Non-essential things. We call it professional. Yeah. And we think that professional work is essential. But actually, that has nothing to do with our genes, right? Yeah. And so, this woman bought corn, knowing that her husband doesn't like it, but feeling what? Feeling her husband will eat tonight. Strange feeling, a little conflict. But right after she paid for the corn, she felt what? Great. You know, feeling something that she did right. You know, why she feel that way? Because that was God's feeling, right? So God said, yes, the spark. You know, she has endorphin. That's why she feel good. And she came back home and she timed what time her husband will be, you know, home, and then she put it in the oven and wait. On the way back home, husband began to feel corn again. Strange. Now, he felt now he wants corn, but he could not speak to her, to his wife, because of this man's pride, right? You know, so you know how he felt? He said to himself, I wish my wife knows about this without me speaking to her. And at the same time, he sort of felt, she probably have corn for me tonight. In a way, he is what? Wishing for that. You know, why all these thought is coming to the wife and husband? It's a spark of God. God is connecting them. So we need to be connected through God. You know that? That's true love. Not to be connected through money, you know, yeah, or something else. See? So he arrived, and then he put his car into garage, and he pushed the door open, and wow! Suddenly, what? The saliva gene and all the gene in stomach activated. And God is speaking, then this is what you need. Yes, genes are saying, all yes. Yeah. He was amazed. And he went, and so his wife, honey, how did you know I want to come? You know what she said? I was ironing your shirts. That's something, I don't know why. I wanted to go to the grocery store. And I saw as soon as I saw the corn, I don't know why, but I felt that you're going to eat this. You know what? He hugged her. Honey, I know you love me. See? You know what that really means? I know there's a God between us, you and me. Right? That's what love really means. See? But in this case, they were non-Christians, you know. I heard this experience, like they're telling me, Dr. Lee, it was weird, you know. Then I finally said, it's not weird. So I had to what? Show these slides, and there is what? Cosmic consciousness, cosmic intelligence. So they said, Dr. Lee, what is cosmic consciousness? I said, that's God. That's all. There is God, you know. That began their Bible study. You know that? Yeah. Because, you know, even though you're not Christian, God is still working between them, right? That is the tree of life. See? The wisdom God gives them. So how can you receive more wisdom? How? Tell me. The answer is so simple. All my question is very simple, really. But whenever I ask you, you begin to think complex. Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Okay. How to receive more wisdom? You don't have to try to receive the wisdom. You know that? You don't have to try to receive the wisdom. All you have to do is what? Love. Love. You love your husband, then God will what? Give you wisdom for you and for your what? Husband. Yeah. That's why Jesus says, love one another. Then you'll be in wisdom. See? What a joy to love one another and you become wiser. See? You are in His wisdom, right? Then your T cells, your stomach cells, your brain cells, all your gene will be so activated up to the what? Level of what God wants you to be. See? That's why Jesus says, let me give you new commandment. What? Love one another. Wow. Then you are going to live with the tree of life, right? Yes. Then you will know what to eat, what not to eat, how much to eat, you know, everything. Okay. So, today you learned about the superoxide radical, right? Superoxide radical is produced most when you're under the stress. Okay. When you're under the stress, you're listening a lot of noise from the speaker. At the same time, you're destroying yourself. So that's why we are saying, well, I'm hurt. What is hurt? Your gene is hurt. See? Your gene is damaged. See? Yeah. That's why we use that kind of language. Yeah. Because we feel we really are what? Hurt. Yeah. Somewhere it's hurting. Our genes are hurting, really. And literally hurting, right? Yeah. And so, and next situation where your superoxide radical is more produced a lot, is overnutrition. Too much of certain nutrition, more than what you need. See? More than what you need. Vitamin C, if it exceeds your need, then it is problem to you. See? Then how do you know that how much you need, right? How much what do you need? We really don't know. So this is awakening. We thought we know what we need, right? But suddenly I made point very clear. Nobody knows. I'm a doctor. I'm a Sang Lee, Do I know that? No. I don't. This is now I'm ready to receive the wisdom. Because I now know I don't know anything. What a wonderful principle of righteousness by faith, right? That's why I call this kind of stuff theobiology or biotheology. That's right. When you really begin to know gene and your body, how your body works according to God's will, suddenly you find the true principle of righteousness by faith. Suddenly you know you're nothing. You know nothing, and you can be only depend upon what? The wisdom of God. Yes. 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 Then you really know now what to eat, what not to eat, how much, You didn't know, but now you know, right? It's just like you become like a giraffe. Yeah. So, do you know what is healthy eating? Eat like a giraffe. That's the answer. It's a total righteousness by what? Faith. Yeah. By faith, we become healthy, right? By being dependent upon His instruction, His wisdom, His power. We now know what to eat, what not to eat, how much to eat, when not to eat, right? This is, see, when you are trying to control your own food, then strange imbalance develops. Strange things happen. Okay. Since superoxide radical is the most the biggest culprit for our health, the most worst thing for our health. And then, you need to eat what? A lot of antioxidant. So, as long as you're being vegetarian, there's so much antioxidant. Since you came here, you've been eating antioxidant every meal. Okay. Now, among those antioxidants, one of the most famous one is vitamin C. The other one is vitamin E, right? The other one is beta-carotene. Okay. Scientists recently found out, since lung cancer is very common, one of the most common cancer in America, and they're trying to find out how can we prevent this lung cancer. So when they did a lot of study. Many of the studies showed that the people with a sufficient amount of beta-carotene serum level don't get the lung cancer. So they found out beta-carotene is a very good antioxidant, sort of. It protects other area too, but more specifically to the what? It works on the lung. See? That's what they found out. And so people who have lower beta, the lung cancer patient, very commonly, what? If they do the blood testing, the beta-carotene level is lower. So pharmaceutical company, right now, they can only sell beta-carotene as what? As a food supplement, right? So they cannot really put the high price tag. But now they can see this is beta-carotene definitely has what? Preventive effect on lung cancer especially. So they put application to FDA asking for what? Please give us permission to be able to sell this beta-carotene tablet as what? Lung cancer prevention agent. And they showed all the data. And then FDA says, okay, we know about this. But there's no data that your pill can prevent lung cancer. FDA is quite conservative, right? Yeah. So please bring us the data that you gave these pills, beta-carotene pills, and then there's definite what data showing that what lung cancer has been prevented. So they said, okay. So they have what? About 10,000 people. They divided in half, 5,000, 5,000. They get placebo this way, this group, and they give what? Beta-carotene this way, and they did all X-rays, blood testing, and so on, so on. Lots of money, right? Lots of money. Yeah. We call it R&D money, right? Research and develop money. And they did it 6 years. And they are really tired of it. See? So they said, we did it 6 years. Can we just make a decision based on 6 years accumulated data? FDA says, okay, bring the data. We'll take a look at it. And if it is really convincing, then we will just, we'll just give you permission. Wow, guess what happened? This is interesting, okay? Okay, look. It says, avoid adding beta-carotene to the diet. National Cancer Institute study advice. Look at this. Okay. This is beta-carotene group, right? This line. This is what? Placebo group. This is total death rate, percent. 5% died, 10% died. This is 1 year, second, third, 6th year. Who died more? Beta-carotene group has a higher death rate. When I saw this data, I was elated. This exactly proves my point. Spark. See? Just taking beta-carotene pills so meaninglessly, right? God never made the pills. Amen. God put the beta-carotene in the melons and the carrots and oranges and so on, and the corns. So, God wanted to have us what? Beta-carotene plus what? Spark. It's so sweet. That was activation factor, But when you do, what spark? You only swallowed a chemical, right? There's no beauty, no goodness. You don't have to say thank you. It's not terrible. Okay. You took beta carotene. God does not want you to take beta carotene. God wants you to eat the corn. God wants you to enjoy orange, right? This is so wise, isn't it? But we think of tablet is so intellectual, isn't it? So what do we prefer? Intellectual we prefer. God is wise. So I want to ask you at this point, you want to be a pill person or a melon person? Yeah. Melon prevents lung cancer, you know that? Because there's a spark, right? Yes. Pill doesn't. Wow. Now you see why God created all the fruits and vegetables and corns, potato, and apples and peaches and that way, right? This is how we don't get bored. Even though we're eating same beta carotene, when we eat the peach, we think we eat the peach. And the peach has a peachy taste, right? So, even though we're eating same beta carotene, sometimes we have a beta carotene with a peachy spark. Sometimes we eat beta carotene with a carrot. Now we have a carroty spark. Melony spark. God put all kinds of spark. See, so if we deny the spark, then we become pill person. See? Now then we have a pill philosophy. You know what this is? 666. You are totally convinced 666 is wise. That's a better lifestyle. That's what 666 means. Don't be deceived that 666 is something, you add all the sum of the letters and it becomes 666. That's why you're going to be totally deceived. Without knowing you are the 666 person, but simply because you don't belong to that certain denomination. You are not 666. That's the way Satan wants you to know 666. See? Yeah. See? God created us. And God is a wise God, right? Yes. That's why, from the beginning in the Garden of Eden, God says, please be wise. Receive my wisdom. There's a knowledge, but you don't need them yet. See? You don't need them. Just a tree of life, okay? You need my spark. That's what he meant. See? Today, we still don't get it. Yeah. Right? Yeah. We still feel that the pill is more intellectual. Of course, it is intellectual for sure, right? But it has no wisdom in it. No spark in it. God always wants us to have something with a spark together. See? Okay. We're hungry because God wants us to eat something. Okay, and be wise as you eat tonight. So it is. We are actually eating His wisdom, right? Yes, yes. So how wonderful. Now, I wish you got some new concept about way of healthy eating, right?